Okay, I am. Are we recording, Kathy? Awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our last session with this group, and what a group it's been. I am very impressed with how you've gone. So we're going to cover quite a few things today. We've only scheduled an hour and a half. It may drift a little bit over because we blocked out 2 hours in your calendar, but that's all right. And it'll really depend on what you want to discuss. I certainly have some final content to go through, but it's more about the policy administrative side of road safety auditing across jurisdictions in Australia and New Zealand. Some legal, flags to put out there, and those sort of things. I want to go through the assignments and just make sure we all understood some of the little intricacies and give out our prizes for the research reports, which I have gone through all of those, and I loved it. It was awesome. So well done to everybody on that. I laughed, I cried, I learned things. It was all good. Everything was wonderful. So, Kathy, where do you think I should start on this? Prizes for the research assignment?
Sure.
So I could have given everybody a prize on this because every one of them had some really some great stuff, some creative things, some good technical content, some really well presented stuff, and it was good, and it covered a variety of topics, and some of you probably found, might have lucked onto an easy topic where there's a lot of information. Others maybe a topic that really didn't have a lot of information out there, but you all managed to get something together, and it's been marked, and you've have access to see your mark. Hopefully that automatically gets emailed to you that it has been marked, so you should have seen that. So 3 prizes: the most technically sound, the most engaging, and the most creative. So technically sound could have, as I say, gone to a huge number of you because you were very technically sound. It was more then it really came down to the amount of detail provided in the technical information. And so the prize for most technically sound goes to Jay in Mildura. And that was for trap lanes, and especially like the detail of how to sign trap lanes and where to find the information about the correct signage and how to go about that. So well done, Jay. That was a really good one. The most engaging goes to Nero for overtaking lanes. And again, some of these out there were incredible and could have gone to a number of you. Picked that one for a few reasons, and you'll be able to see these. So you'll, am I right, Kathy? We will be able to share those with everybody. Yeah, so you'll be able to see those. The creative, and maybe this is a bit controversial here because it's going to Johan Tay, who Kathy said is staff. But I think when you get you get to see them, you'll understand why Johan picked up that prize for most creative. A wonderful little video put together with lots of truck rollovers at roundabouts, dash cam footage, and good information. But I think the creative nature of pulling a whole lot of real world actual rollovers and incidents at roundabouts together to highlight the different infrastructure deficiencies or driving behaviour challenges, I think is good. So, Kathy, explain how they'll be able to look at these things.
Thanks, Ken. I will do that, and I'll just show you now. So what we've done is pop them into reference documents and resources, and there's a folder in there called participants research assignments. I'm just assuming here I've got the right screen share.
Yeah.
Yep. so reference documents and resources, and there's our folder with everyone's assignment in there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's tiny writing, isn't it? There you go.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Yep.
So it's really worth having a flick through those. As I say, they're pretty cool and easy, you know, as you all know, because you did it. They're short, they're little snippets of information, and there's a whole lot of topics in there, and you may not be familiar with what they are. So it's worth just clicking on them to find out what it is. Like, you know, one of them was a Danish offset crossing. Well, that's not something that a lot of people know what it is, a Z crossing. So it's worth, you know, just clicking on that to see what it is. So well done, everybody. Thank you for that. As I say, lots of you could have got prizes. Many of you got full marks on this because you ticked all those boxes, and I just picked a few there that especially stood out for one reason or another. Okay, good stuff there. Let's have a little look at the desktop assignment. Should we do that now? Yeah, okay. I'm just going to share my screen. That'll be the chat that you'll see. So you're seeing the assignment there, Kathy? Yep. So I think everybody's done this, and most people have done very, very well on it. And I think it was a good way to see sort of how an audit finding can be written up. And we really be looking for this when you do your final audit, that it's written up in a similar fashion. And remember, there's that recipe in the module 1 notes. So this one, the plan shows left turn and straight, pavement markings. So actually, if we click on the plan just to have a look at it, which I'm sure all of you did, as the left turn and straight, which would put people up into the wrong carriageway, which is most likely a drafting error, but you've still got to assume that it'll be built when you're auditing these sort of things. So yeah, okay, well, that's what it is on the plan, and I'll audit it accordingly. Well, I'll assume this is a drafting error. So even in this audit finding, we've sort of been nice to say that. It should be a right straight arrow, or is concerned this way, drive confused and drive the wrong way, the carriageway. This could result in a head-on crash. Now, that head-on crash in the audit finding is an important point, because that's going to help us with a later question that we have. So, occasional and serious. So this is where you have to go to the risk matrix table and find out what the answer is there. And so I think that comes out as medium, but I would actually check the table myself, but I think it's medium. Then this is the one that I really wanted to talk about, because this is one I think a lot of people got confused by. The head-on crash between passenger vehicles that is predicted in audit finding 1. So we're interested in that head-on crash. Is expected to generally occur between 30 and 50 kilometers per hour. Is this above safe system tolerable energy or within safe system tolerable energy levels? And so we again talked about this in module 1, and for head-on crashes, we really drew that threshold line at 70 kilometers per hour for passenger vehicles, which is, that is one of the highest speed crashes that we can take between passenger vehicles. So that's within the levels. So that was one of the ones that I think people are still sort of getting their head around, but go back and look at those tolerable energy levels. And then the categorization is another challenging one, and I absolutely acknowledge that this is challenging to get your head around. So the recommendation is to alter the line marking to be straight and right, or straight only if there's no right turn at that location. Is this categorized as primary, supporting, or non-safe system? Well, it's a supporting treatment. The reason for that is that there is no physical barrier or anything to stop people turning up that carriageway, and we know that people do turn the wrong way up carriageways, confused, or may not, may really be confused, or maybe intentionally do these things. And we know that the line marking certainly plays a significant role in whether people do or don't, but it doesn't eliminate, doesn't virtually eliminate it. The general rule of thumb is anything associated with signage or line marking or lighting or these things that influence the likelihood of it happening are supporting treatments. And if you want to be a bit clearer on this, there's a document called the Austroad Safe System Assessment Framework. Now, safe system assessments are a different thing to road safety audits, we've got a course we run on those specifically. There's overlapping elements, but within that document, it actually lists lots and lots of treatments and then categorizes them between primary, supporting, or completely other elements of the safe system. So you can get that document and have a look at things as you're going, but just be aware that anything associated with signs, line marking, or the like is almost always going to be a supporting treatment. And that's because humans continue to make mistakes. You really need to get some physical civil infrastructure in play to get it into a primary treatment. Okay, so that's that. I don't think I need to go through all of them, all the questions. As I say, most of you did really well on that. So, so well done. Stop sharing that. Kathy, did you want to add anything to that?
No, thank you, Ken. Just if anyone has any questions, now's a good time to raise them on that one.
Yeah, and this session's a real opportunity for you to delve into any aspects of road safety auditing, anything we've covered, anything we haven't covered and you're interested in, and I'm going to cover a little bit more in terms of accreditation and those sorts of things. But we do have time this one, and we encourage you to pop your hand up, use that raise hand, and we'll unmute you and you can talk. So feel free to do that if you want. But I think I'm on a prize giving out spree for a Friday. So what I want to do is a little summary of the technical content that we've covered, but I think I'll let you do that. And the way I'm going to do it is to say, have a think back through the modules we've covered. So we had module 1, which covered, what a road safety audit is, how to do those risk ratings, and the safe system energy, the steps of an audit, the stages of an audit. We then covered pedestrians, cyclists, motorcyclists, heavy vehicles and swept paths, all these thematic audits, and yeah, a whole lot of different things. So what I want you to do is think back and write down into the chat, and I want everybody to do this, one thing that really stands out in your mind. So it could be something that you thought about while you were walking around the network, or driving along, or something that you told your partner or your friend about because you go, wow, did you know this, or something like that. Or maybe it could even be something that you maybe not convinced about. You want more proof, you want some research, you want some evidence on these sorts of things, and that's fine as well. Just one thing that stood out to you. The way I'm going to give a prize is I just picked 6 random things out of the the content. And if what you say matches one of these, the random ones that I picked, you'll win a prize. So Kathy, we could be giving a lot of prizes out here.
That's true, Ken. I might also give a prize for any that I just like as well too.
Whoa, okay.
I don't think you're the only one who can give out prizes. We have a question that's come in whilst people are having a think and going to jot something in the chat. Is there an obstacle for road widening, such as a retaining wall and vegetation? And is that something that should be within the RSA report?
Yeah, so I think this is a question about, so if there are things that hamper the ability of the project to widen the road, and that's part of it. So be that, native vegetation removal or retaining walls or large structures or something like that, should that be in the road safety audit report? Well, I suppose the answer to that is it depends. If it's just the fact that you look at it and their design is that they will widen the road, and you get out on site and you go, well, okay, good luck widening that. It's going to cost you an absolute bomb. That's not a road safety audit issue. It's a project management cost issue. Now, if you're like most auditors, you probably will note that somewhere in the audit report, but it's not one of the key road safety audit issues. It won't be in your matrix because you can't draw that to a specific crash. If, however, you go, wow, okay, they're going to widen this road and it's going to become really close to the trees because, I predict they can't remove these trees or the like, then you've created a road safety issue and it's increased the risk of runoff road. And so then you would put that in as a specific issue. So you need to be a little bit flexible in these to work those things out. Also, if you're doing these very early concept feasibility stage road safety audits, often you've got no idea. Like you go, you're looking at it and you go, well, they want to put a roundabout there. Oh my God, there's like a house there and there's like, how are they even going to fit this? Well, at that early stage, you're not going to give any, likely get any of that detail. So you need to sort of tell a story within your audit. You want to talk to your client and say, well, what's your plan? Are you going to acquire those houses? Are you going to take them out, or are you going to push your roundabout close to that? If they say to you, oh, well, we can't acquire, we don't have enough money to acquire the houses, so it's all going to be tight close up to that. Well, now you're in a position where you can write an audit finding. You can say, the design has the roundabout. In discussions with the project team, there's going to be no planned acquisition, so the buildings will be close up to the edge of the roundabout. This would cause, and then you can predict the issues associated with that. Also, and I talked to one of the participants about a little bit about this one. When you're doing these early concept designs, you don't get all the information you would want. You don't get the lighting plan, the drainage plan, the pavement plan, and these sort of things. That's in the detailed design. So what you're doing is looking at that high level of our potential issues. But if you happen to know some things like, say, you go, okay, they're planning that, and I was out there and it looks like it's a real floodplain here, and that could cause some real potential issues, you may just highlight that as something as they continue to develop the project. They need to really focus on ensuring the drainage because it could cause these road safety issues. So it's there's a little bit of adapting in an audit report. And this is when you go out and start doing audits, you start by doing audits with senior auditors, and they know how to craft these and deal with these issues, and you continue your learning. So that's where we're going with that. But I'll give you another minute now to pop in something that you you thought was interesting or something specific about the course content so far, and we'll see if any match or if Kathy just likes any.
It's very technical, isn't it, my approach?
Hey, I like it. Okay, I'm starting to see some good stuff coming in. Now, Kathy, this will be a little bit of a challenge, logistical challenge between us, I think, when I put up the 6 that I randomly picked, whether you can, correlate those. I suppose I can read through and do that. Okay, I'll give it a minute or two because we've still got a number of people to pop in their ideas. Some good stuff coming in. For those who haven't popped it in, yep, pop anything in. Oh, see, Nero's gone with a little tricky one. He's put 3 in to try and increase his chances of winning a prize. I like it. I'm not sure. That'll have to definitely go to Judge Kathy to determine whether that's allowed.
Nero, you've got enough prizes for today, so you're
out. Okay, I think we've got some. Oh, this is excellent. Okay. Okay, let's have a read through what some of them that I put up, and then I'll have a look and read through the ones you brought up, and we will see what matches. But this is fantastic in terms of reassuring me that you're actually engaged in the content of the course, because you're coming up with some wonderful, wonderful ideas there. Okay. And I'm going to swap. Here we go. My random 6 are that road safety audit is proactive and black spot investigation is reactive. It's a proactive process. Dynamic visual obstruction or masking, 8 steps, those official 8 steps. Pedestrian desire lines, sharrows, the shared arrows, and severity of injury, the safe system tolerances. So let's have a look through what everybody was saying, and hopefully we'll have some matches. As I say, mine were picked at random, so they're not like the 6 most important at all. They were just 6 ones that I picked, and you came up with a few others. So, okay, the break in the roundabout sign. Yes, I think that's one that a lot of you will now never be able to drive past a roundabout sign without looking for that little gap and checking it's in the right spot. And that's fun. Is it the biggest road safety issue out there? No, it is not, but it's good to know. Impact ratios for pedestrian, side impact, and head on. We have a prize winner. Dave is on the board because that's the severity of injury tolerances for the safe system. Directional roundabout sign. Yes, so that was the same one as before. Collision speed and fatality. Jay is on the board with another prize. The swept path diagrams that Jamie was sort of running through quite a bit of. So that's a really good one, I think, that a lot of people probably aren't aware of the level of detail that goes into that, checking that vehicles can get around all these. So that was a good one. Elsa's talking about riding a bike and looking at the grates, and that's probably a good thing. You don't want to drop into one of those grates, but the longitudinal grates, that's a good pickup. And the poles breaking away, so slip-based poles, that came up a couple of times there. Bike path design, safety issues, yeah, good. So thinking not just about the roads, but the bike paths as well. Impact speed thresholds, longitudinal grates, roundabout signage, the categorization of treatments. I like that one. So Rafaela has pointed that one out. Not on my list, but gee, it's a good way to think about things, and it'll help us all round to be putting the big ticket items in to our road safety audits. And funnily enough, we're doing some work with IRAP at the moment. Raphael is from IRAP, to try to sort of marry the two up, because IRAP and road safety audits can work together beautifully in ensuring that what we identify and what we recommend in road safety audits is genuinely going to give us some really meaty savings in deaths and serious injuries out there. So trying to make sure we're not just tweaking around the edges, but we're actually getting some big ticket items. So that's exciting. Thinking about all road users and all road users' perspectives, that is absolutely a wonderful one as well. Speeds around work sites is a good one. And behavioural psychology of road users, that's another fantastic one. So that's sort of human factors and how people are consciously or subconsciously going to perceive the road environment, be that a driver, a pedestrian, a cyclist, motorcyclist, heavy vehicle driver. And looking from the road user's perspective, not just the designer's perspective. So that is, as I say, that's just made me extremely happy that those are some of the takeaway messages from you. Some of them matched up with the random ones I picked. Kathy, were there any there that didn't match up but you thought worthy of a prize?
I'm going to give one to Alex J for the behavioural psychology of road users, and to Richard, because he's done a nice little overall. The courses outline how to analyse road safety from all views from road users in predicting potential crashes. I like those two.
Excellent. Yeah. And so one of the things that I love about road safety, I mean, in general here, is that it's the challenge, not just the engineering side of things, but we need to have that understanding of behavioral psychology and the way people use things, and the crazy things that'll happen out there, and try to work out ways to make those either not happen or reduce the severity of those. And when I catch up with my structural engineering friends or the like, or water engineering friends, it's very much that the human element is so little in their jobs. Yes, they have to think about how a building will be used or the like, but add some safety factors on it, and they're okay. We have to be far more in tune with humans and understanding how humans go about doing things on the road network than a lot of our other engineering colleagues or technical colleagues. Okay, any other points, questions that you want to bring up at this stage before I jump into a few slides? Anything?
Not just yet.
Okay. Let me run through a few slides and have a think about if there's anything else you'd like me to cover to talk about as I go in our last session. So, as I mentioned, this is really about road safety audit administration. So accreditation, legal liability, and these sorts of things. I'm predominantly going to talk about Victoria, South Australia, and the Northern Territory. I do touch on Queensland and Tassie, and a little bit about what happens around the world for our international. But each jurisdiction tends to operate a little bit differently, which you might see as an issue because we would like to get some harmonisation, some consistency, but it is what it is. So for this session, the last session, we just want to make sure that you know the requirements of some of the jurisdictions for road safety audit accreditation, understand the process for registering as a road safety auditor in Victoria, South Australia, and I'm going to chuck in Queensland as well, and identify some of the potential legal risks for auditors, which you will become, or those procuring audits, so road authorities or developers who are engaging road safety auditors to do work. So I'm going to start with those legal things. And you'll see there I've got a disclaimer down the bottom, and I put that there. I'm not a legal professional, and you should seek your own legal advice if you've got concerns in any areas. And what I'm really just going to talk about is my experience in different legal, dealing with different legal issues associated with road safety auditing while I was working for the Victorian Road Authority for many years, and different things that came up. And since leaving there 8 years ago or so, and working as a consultant, what's come up in different expert witnesses or legal battles that we've provided advice for. But I do stress you need to get your own legal advice. I really only got a couple of slides on this, but possible issues for road safety auditors, things that could put you in hot water as a road safety auditor. And I'm going to go through these one at a time. And the first one, we call it a client-focused road safety audit. So this is where you as a road safety auditor get engaged, you and your team, to do an audit. And maybe for a developer who's building a big new hardware warehouse or something, and they have to access onto the road network, and they've been asked in the planning permit conditions to put a set of traffic signals, for example, and you are engaged to audit that, and maybe the owner of that big hardware chain says, we want you to do the road safety audit on this design, and we don't want to spend any more money. Like we spent enough on this bloody intersection already, and don't you give us anything that actually costs us any money in this audit. And so then the legal thing would be that if the audit was compromised associated with that sort of discussion, and it was pulled back in terms of any identification of issues or any recommendations due to that being client focused. So we need to have that independence. We need to not be influenced by that. I reviewed, I organised a review when I was managing road safety auditing for Victoria of a few hundred road safety audits that had happened, randomly chosen, and I couldn't find any evidence of this sort of behaviour specifically. I put down some of the things that I go, that's not great, to either inexperienced auditors or lack of understanding of a few things, rather than that sort of client-specific focus. But it is an ongoing concern that is out there, and it would be, I predict it would be very bad for the auditor from a legal perspective. So an inadequate brief's a little bit so if you as an auditor get inadequate information to do your job, and you don't sort of seek more, so an extreme example would be, could you please do a detailed design road safety audit on this intersection where we're going to build a roundabout, and we're going to build it to the Austroads guide, in accordance with the Austroads guide, but you're not actually given a detailed design. Of course, I mean, this is a very extreme example. You go, well, I would need to see a detailed design to do a detailed design road safety audit. And if you didn't ask for that, or say I can't really do that, maybe I could do a feasibility audit for you here. The next one's, I mean, this is across the board, misleading your qualifications or experience in any aspect of anything, really. You're going to be in trouble legally in that. But certainly if you say you're a senior road safety auditor and you are not, you say you have 10 years detailed design experience and you do not, you're putting yourself out there for some legal problems. So not following the correct process is the next one. So not inspecting the site, not going there during the daytime, and the nighttime if that is required. Remember, there is that little get out of the nighttime clause that could be enacted, but most of the time you should be out there at night, but certainly visiting the site. And following your own quality management procedures for your organisation. And so whatever that is documented, which is often, somebody has a secondary set of eyes on these things. And then in the legal fraternity, you're held to this reasonable assessment. What does that mean? Well, it just has to play out in court, really. But if you were to miss, an issue that your peers all agree that you should have picked up, you may be somewhat held to account. So maybe that left turn arrow on that mock plan we had for Victoria Parade, you reviewed the plans as an audit team and missed that, and it got painted and somebody went up the wrong way. I think that's probably, it would be reasonable that you would pick that up as a road safety audit, or your team would. That's another reason it's good to have a team, because you lessen your chance of missing something, an absolute howler like that one. So that's the road safety auditor, some of the issues, potential issues there. So the customer, the road authority, the procurer of the road safety audit, project manager, designer, whoever it is. So some of the potential legal things, intentionally holding back information in the brief. So not giving over designs or bits of information that maybe there's an issue that you don't want to be found. So maybe not giving over the swept path diagrams because you're a little worried about the overlap of the swept paths or something like that. The next one's requesting recommendations. And certainly as a road safety auditor, this comes up a lot. We're told what we should find. And you've got to sort of say, I'll find what I find. We'll find what we find. This is an independent audit. The other one and this is a big one for road authorities especially, is that duty to consider the recommendation. So an auditor, an independent expert, has looked at this and made recommendations. The project team, the designer, they are not bound to do whatever it says, but they are bound to do something with that recommendation in terms of accept it, reject it, or defer it. But we need some justification if we go down the track of rejecting or deferring. Deferring is okay. We do see that a lot, where we as auditors make a recommendation, it goes in, they get it, they go, well, listen, I agree with you. That's an issue. We like your recommendation. We don't have the budget for that. We can't do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that over to the project development team, and hopefully they'll put that on the list for future works. In the meantime, what we'll do are these things to reduce that risk. That's a nice process to have. And that means of prioritizing some of this stuff is important. And a road safety audit helps quite a bit for road authorities or project managers, because we do that risk rating. So they're already getting some prioritization of these issues. The safe system energy also helps to prioritize. If you've got two medium risk issues, one of them's flagged as safe system threshold above and one of them's not, I think that helps you prioritize. And then just, again, this word reasonable, which comes up a lot in the legal fraternities, reasonable process. A reasonable process for when you do road safety audits, when you don't do them as a road authority. And this one I really stress for councils. The one thing I see out there a lot for local governments, for councils, is they have no process or rationale for when they do and don't do road safety audits. Okay? And it's bizarre. You'll see a $200,000 job gets a detailed design audit and a post-opening audit, and then some $5 million new sports stadium is built that accesses onto the road network and no road safety audits are done whatsoever. So what I suggest to local governments is to prepare yourself a very brief road safety audit policy, and it will cover you in these circumstances. And we were so passionate about that when we did the last update of the Austroads Guide to Road Safety Part 6, Managing Road Safety Audits, that we even put a template road safety audit policy in the back of that for you to use. They're saying, you've got to have some sort of logical procedure here. The courts will have a field day if you are at random choosing when you do and don't do these safety checks with no sort of documented way that you're going to do this. Now, the state road authorities are in a better position because they all have some sort of policy around this. And often the policies are around the total estimated cost of the project. So they use these triggers. So, a total estimated cost of, 0 to 100,000 is at the discretion of the designer and the project manager as to whether they do or don't do a road safety audit. And they should consider, how risky this is. If you're fundamentally changing an intersection or something, you really probably would be wanting to do it. But, you're just doing a bit of shoulder sealing or something and you don't believe, then, it may not warrant. Above that, maybe you do one audit and, above $5 million, you do audits at every stage, or above $10 million for these projects. It's a big project, there's a lot to it. So there are road safety audit policies out there, and there's some freely available, and feel free to contact me. I can send you examples from other jurisdictions as well. But if you're in a council, you probably want to start considering whether you've got something like that. Okay, I'll pause there before I jump to that one and just see if anything's come in terms of questions, because I'm going to move to accreditation now.
No, we're all good, Ken.
Okay, so accreditation. So you as an individual are going to, get this accreditation as a road safety auditor. So what you'll get is when you meet those benchmark requirements and you pass this course, you'll get a certificate. That certificate is just a certificate, and you need to use it to register as a road safety auditor to get yourself accredited. And that is done at the moment in Australia at a jurisdictional specific level. So there's a Victorian register, there's a Queensland register, there's a South Australian register, there's a Western Australian register, there's a New South Wales register. There is no Tasmanian register. The Tasmanians just use the Victorian register. There is no Northern Territory register. They use any other register. And New Zealand's a bit different. They've said, we're not going to do a register, and we don't care whether you're registered anywhere else. What we want is proof that you know what you're doing. And so for each engagement, you can prove that and whatever way you want. And so usually that's with a certificate from a course or a past experience or whatever it is. So how do you do this? Well, to become an accredited road safety auditor in Victoria, road safety auditor, you need to have done a recognised road safety audit course, and this is one that is recognised by the Victorian government. And you need to have, quoting here, some experience in road safety or road design, traffic and transport management, road safety engineering, road user behaviour, one of those. And I'll tell you now, it's a very easy entry in Victoria. Victoria went with the idea that the more people we can get into this system to be actively thinking about road safety and doing road safety audits, the better. We don't want to make it too hard. And I'm going to take you through all these specifics shortly. To graduate up to a senior road safety auditor in Victoria is a bit harder. And you've got to have minimum years of experience, 5 years of experience. You have to actually do 5 road safety audits with the senior road safety auditor. And 3 of those have to be at design stage. So you can't just do 5 traffic management construction site audits. You'd actually have to do some design audits as well, because there is no specific, like, you don't become a senior road safety auditor just for traffic management schemes. You become a senior road safety auditor across the board. So they need to make sure that you've got that covered as well. In order to keep up at a senior level, you need to participate in at least 1 audit per year. Queensland's very similar, except for just to get entry in, you need 5 years of professional experience. So Queensland does a fair bit of, well, there's people who do a lot of auditing in Queensland who haven't got their 5 years experience, but they would be called a trainee auditor or an observer potentially in the audit report. But apart from that, it's pretty much the same as the Victorian one. Slightly different in what they recognise as experience. South Australia is, again, very much more like the Victorian, so you can get that road safety auditor accreditation, albeit that they don't display that on the DIPTI, or I think it's DIT now, Department of Infrastructure and Transport website, the auditors, they just display the senior auditors. But again, you need to have some experience in these areas. So I'll pick those 3 jurisdictions just to take you through. I'm happy to, if somebody has a particular interest in another jurisdiction, explain what the requirements are. Again, we're doing some work with IRAP and with others about some more international accreditation around this sort of stuff, because you can see here, I mean, there's 4 or 5 just within Australia different accreditation systems, let alone when you go out around the world. The most rigorous that I am aware of around the world is in the UK. You need to do I think it's a 15-day training course. And then there's quite stringent requirements after that on what you have to do to remain as an accredited road safety auditor. So that's probably very restrictive in getting you into the market, and certainly Victoria's the other extreme to that, where it's actually fairly quite easy to get in and start doing audits, and we think that that's a benefit from a whole raft of reasons. So let me just run through those levels of accreditation that you were seeing there for Victoria, South Australia, and Queensland. And we have road safety auditor and senior road safety auditor. Now, we could swap these photos. It's not about age. It's about meeting those requirements, which I laid out. But let's run through those just briefly again. To become a road safety auditor, you need to do this course or an equivalent recognised course, and you need some experience in road safety, engineering, road design, traffic management, or road user behaviour. Some experience. Now, having read all your introductions that you put into Moodle and looking at what your roles are and where you're working and the like, I can tell you're all going to meet this requirement. You're all going to meet that requirement for the entry level. No worries. For the senior auditor, you need to do this course or equivalent. You need 5 years experience now in road safety, engineering, design, traffic management, or road user behaviour, and you need to undertake those 5 road safety audits with a senior road safety audit. And you sort of package all those up and then apply for that graduation to senior road safety auditor status. In Victoria, we use this website, vrsa.com.au. Let me just take you through how that looks. So you'll see this is it here, and is a standalone website, and the first thing that will come up is a disclaimer. This disclaimer says this register has a whole lot of road safety auditors listed on it, and we can't guarantee any are any good. All we can tell you is that they've completed a recognised course and that they have shown that they have, some experience in these areas. So it's basically saying, it's over to it's over to you as the consumer to worry about how good they are. We've just, they've just met their these entry requirements. Then once you're in there, I'll take you what you're going to do. You're going to get into this website, and then you're going to just jump straight to register for auditor accreditation. And then you're going to go in here, and it's going to say, do you want to register as a road safety auditor or a senior road safety auditor? Now, unless you've been doing audits and you're doing a refresher or something like that, you're going to register as a road safety auditor. And you click on start. And then it asks you to fill out some information. Who you are, your organisation, your contact details. You'll notice over here, hide from public view. You don't want everybody to be able to see your phone number, for example. Just hide it. You can still be registered and have all this hidden if you want. You fill all of that out, you upload a copy of the certificate. Then somebody reviews it and hits approved, and hey presto, you are an accredited road safety auditor, Victorian Government accredited road safety auditor. Now, what I suggest to people from other jurisdictions, jump on the Victorian register first. If you're an international and you want to jump on the register, it will ask you for an Australian address, like a postal address. You are welcome to use the Safe System Solutions address, our office address, which you can find on our website as your address. So that was there's plenty of internationals on the Victorian register, and a lot of them either use the VicRoads Denmark Street address or our address, and that's fine. We're comfortable with that. And I say get on there as a road safety auditor, and then go out and get your experience. Do lots of audits. Really continue to build your experience. Now, Kathy, did I see a hand pop up there?
Yes, you did. Alex, did you want to have a chat?
Yeah, that's a good opportunity, I guess, than me typing. With Engineers Australia, we have a CPD login session in their website.
Yep.
Is that the next stage there, the road safety engineering workshop, or can we record the audit somewhere else in a database?
Yeah, great question, and thanks for popping on and speaking. So in terms of CDP requirements and the like for road safety auditors, it's done in a slightly different way. It's all about submitting an audit that you've done, or the information about an audit you've done. There's no actual logging of it in terms of hours, like continuing professional development hours, like you would for Engineers Australia or Professionals Australia or those sorts of places. Now, this course, though, you can definitely add this to your Engineers Australia CPD log, or your Professionals Australia, your RPEng log, or the like. So that ticks that box. But in terms of CPD or continue for road safety auditor, it's really about doing that one audit per year and logging the information, which you do by going into this one that I've got with the red square around it now, logging in once you're a registered auditor, and you then just upload some information. Does that answer your question, Alex?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you for popping in. And there you go, everybody. It's as easy as that. You just pop your hand up and we unmute you. So,
question. Sorry, Ken, just another question. If you apply for senior road safety auditor, are you required to submit the previous reports, or should you just list the audits?
Very good question. Let me cover that. Let me cover that shortly. So when you're registered and you're there, anybody can go to this website and search for an auditor. Okay, so you click on search for an auditor, and this would come up, and you can search by name, by organization, by the required expertise. So if you want somebody who's a bicycle detailed design, check that box and you see what comes up. So you can do that. Now, I always say take this with a grain of salt, because it's self-marked. And I do see a lot of people just tick every box because they want to be thought about for any audit that's out there. So take it with a grain of salt. Anyway, and then the big list comes up, and the list is big. It's about 600 in Victoria. Sorry, on the Victorian Register. Probably a good couple of 300 of those are interstate, but that's all right. And you see lots of people on this list, and that's good. And I'm just going to click on myself here just to show you. These are screen captures, so these are some old slides. I could do this live actually, but just click there. And what you see is, this is what you see, the public sees, level of accreditation, senior road safety auditor, contact details. Remember, you can hide any of this. You don't want the public to see. There's the opportunity to put a bit of your CV in there to a degree, so people know what your background is, and that's up to you what you put in there, but or what you show to the public or what you hide, but that's sort of the proof you're in the industry. They'll see this as the matrix of what you have as areas of expertise. So there you go. You'll note there that worksite traffic management plans, I did not tick any of those. I know a bit about worksite traffic management, but I don't profess to have that as a real area of expertise. I've got colleagues who certainly have that. Yeah, so that's what you'll see. Regions available to perform road safety audits. Well, this is a very Victorian thing. It's just the different Victorian regions. So if somebody only wanted to do audits in the east of the state, well, they could, just filter that. Most people just have them all, and that's fine. But then this is what you'll see, and as I say, this is very old. I haven't even updated these slides for a while. In terms of the audits, you'll see the location. So this was in Phillip Island. I was the senior road safety auditor and team leader. That was the date of it, and the client was Vic Roads, and it was a feasibility for a bike path, Anderson to San Remo, for those who know it, which has been built now, which is nice. So that's all the public will see. When you go to upload your audit, you don't actually upload the audit itself. You upload the details of the audit, which is what you see there, plus a contact. So in this case, it would have been a contact from Vic Roads who received the audit. Now, if they want to audit the auditors, they may get in contact with your contact and get confirmation that you did the audit, or even request the audit or the like. But that's all you do in Victoria, is put in the information about it and a contact, like a referee, basically. Anyway, so you list all your audits there. Also, there's you put a copy of this certificate, a PDF or a JPEG of this certificate. So the website is vrsa.com.au. And so I suggest you all go to that. So let me just cover off South Australia. South Australia is a little bit different. And you go to the DIT website now. The easiest thing will be to just Google Road Safety Auditor South Australia, and it'll come up with the DIT website. And you go to the bottom of the page on, they call it pre-qualification. And then they just have a PDF list that they update every 3 or 6 months of auditors, and you fill out a Word document and you send it to an email address, and they assess it and add you to the list. So you can see here that they have their guidelines for application, so you can have a look at that. And they, in the same area, have restricted access vehicle route assessments. A route assessor, different to a road safety auditor. And so they've got their register of those as well. But you click there and you'll see the application form for South Australia. Victoria, vrsa.com.au. Now, what I'm going to do is, unless there's questions here, Kathy, I'm going to actually just bring up the Queensland one. So just make sure, Kathy, that's come up.
Yep, all good.
So this one, again, it's on the Department of Transport and Main Roads, TMR website, and road safety auditors, and you see their list of current road safety auditors, and there's a big list here, and then sort of way down the bottom here, list of current senior road safety auditors, and there you go. You see that, and then so there's nothing to click on, you see, so there I am there. You just got contact details. There's no extra stuff there. This one, again, like the South Australian one, is a send in the information. So you send in the form, and then they just add you to the list manually behind the scenes, and you need to do your maintenance. So it's a email back and forth one. I think that is about what I wanted to cover there. Any questions at this stage? I'm just checking the comments there. No, okay, that's good. Well, so you've seen there how you register as a road safety auditor in Victoria, South Australia, Queensland. So if you're Tasmania, jump on to the Victorian one, and internationally, as I say, I suggest you jump onto the Victorian one. It's the easiest one to navigate through, and you'll graduate there. Now, I should flag that the Victorian Register will have another continuing professional development requirement coming soon. And it is going to be an online e-learning module, and it will have a number of questions about the SAFE system, because there is a requirement to ensure that the existing auditors are fully up to speed on the latest practice with things like the SAFE system energy requirements, and thinking about those things and categorizing treatments. Now, you are going to be in a really good position to do that, because everything in this course is the latest content, which is going to be very similar to the e-learning. We know that because we developed the e-learning for the Victorian government. So you'll be in a pretty good position to do that. But of course, if you had any questions as you were going about that, I would hope that you would get in contact with me to ensure that you understand all those things. Okay, any other questions or comments at this stage? Okay, Kathy, what I'll do now is hand over to you to just go onto Moodle and show people, once they finish all their assignments and get that 80% pass mark and complete the course, how do they get their certificate?
Excellent question. Thank you, Ken. So you're in the road safety audit course, and we have one last quiz for this session, which is module 6 there. You make sure you've done all your quizzes, and you complete your road safety audit report and submit that. That's due next Tuesday, the 9th of March. And then next week, Ken will spend some time marking those assignments. Once that's all done, down here we've got feedback and certificates. So there's a short questionnaire to give us some feedback about the program. So you've got your 80% across your assignments, your quizzes, you've achieved that, and you've done the course feedback. Once you do the course feedback, oh, actually no, I've set that up nicely now, so that will automatically tick once you've given us some feedback. Then this certificate will not be grayed out here, but it'll be able for you to download your certificate. So you'll click on that, and it's not showing anything here at the moment, but you'll see a certificate appear there, and that's how you get your electronic version of your certificate. Of course, I'll be busy doing your hard copies and all the prizes that Ken's given away, because he's been a little bit too generous this round, and so we'll organise that next week as well.
Yeah. So you will have the ability to download your electronic copy. You'll get a physical copy in the mail, and yeah, with whatever prizes. And of course, if you have any trouble with downloading it or the like, you just get in contact with us, and we can help you through that. Or when your hard copy arrives, you could scan it, and then you've got an electronic copy, and you'll use that to register. Yeah, so this certificate will get you onto the Queensland, the Victorian, the South Australian register. Western Australia has a completely different system up and running, so you would have to go through a lot of hoops to be on the Western Australian register. And New South Wales is in a whole state of flux at the moment, trying to work out what they're doing. So yeah, chat to me if you're really desperate to get on the New South Wales one, and we can have a chat to you at some potential avenues. But they're really working on that hard at the moment.
Any questions?
Any questions on your road safety audit that you're doing, how to do it? What is the expectation in terms of what you submit, or anything like that? Because that's the big task that's still outstanding, and it's gonna take some of you a few hours to get all that together. And we don't apologize for that, because once you're through this, you're going to be out there as a road safety auditor.
Good question that's come through, Ken. Can we get some experience, practical experience, by joining your team whilst doing an RSA? Or was even clarified, not paid?
We certainly include auditors in our teams as we can. Sometimes we can't for different reasons, with project confidentiality or just the timeframes and these sorts of things. But certainly we keep a list at Safe System Solutions of people that are interested in gaining experience as a road safety auditor, and looking to at some point in the future graduate up as senior, and we will pull together teams which may have a few people from other organisations, from councils, from government, from other consultancies, to try to continue the learning. And yes, we don't charge you for that, and we expect you won't charge us for that. And we try and ensure that you get involved and see how things work. So for that, you just get in contact with Kathy or myself, and we will add you to our list, and we'll let you know. When we have opportunities. And if it works out, great. And we might offer lots of opportunities, and you say, and none of them work for you in the timing or the distance. But sometimes, it's a significant investment from you, because some of our audits take weeks. So you've got to be prepared. Sometimes they're small audits, and they're done in a much shorter time. But yes, the answer is yes. We're very happy to help you continue your journey in road safety auditing. But get in contact with us so we can add you to that list.
Question about how detailed should the scope of audit section be? Since we're only given the plan sheet for the site, the example has one set of crash data.
Yep. So the scope of the audit, in a real road safety audit, you'd get lots more information, traffic volumes, maybe, and other project reports and things. So you'd have a bit more to talk about. For the purposes of the exercise, it's really just about saying, that you've been engaged to do a concept road safety audit at this location. The project is to, whatever it is, build, construct a roundabout. The existing conditions are an unsignalized, give-way controlled intersection. The area's a residential area, and that's about enough. A couple of paragraphs, a snip of a map or something is plenty. Crash data, it's up to you. Like, I don't think we gave anybody crash data, so we wouldn't expect it to be in there, and it's nor is it a requirement of a road safety audit, as we touched on in one of the first modules. Some people like it as auditors and they use it, but absolutely valid to never mention crash history at all in a road safety audit. That's fine. So, some of you might like to go to the publicly available crash databases for the area that you're in, or ones that you have access to, and have a look at that and pop that in if you wanted, but absolutely not a requirement. And if you don't do that, you're definitely not going to lose marks. You're bigger chance of losing marks if you put it in and then are solely reliant on that. That would probably lose you marks, because that is you're starting to drift into black spot investigation territory rather than a proactive road safety audit. Hope that answers that question. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good point that's come in. What stage of audit are you doing? Most of you are, yes, at feasibility or preliminary design. I sometimes call it concept design, preliminary / concept design. And most of you are almost at feasibility. It's somewhere drifting in there. I'll let you choose what you actually title it between those. I don't think we gave anybody detailed designs. That's probably just too time consuming for the purposes of a training course. And I don't think we gave anybody temporary traffic management either, because it's too dynamic, and things change out on those sites pretty quick. And yeah, so yeah, probably there's a feasibility. You can use those checklists, and you could use the feasibility or the preliminary. I mean, the preliminary covers everything in the feasibility plus more. And then the detail sort of almost covers all of that plus it even more. So yeah, either of those checklists would be fine. Remember, do not submit your checklist. We do not want that checklist, nor would you submit it in a real audit. I'll pause there and see if anybody else has any other final questions, but yeah, a couple of rounding out comments from me. Kathy mentioned I gave away a lot of prizes, and that's because I think this group is worthy of a lot of prizes. There's great assignments have come in, really high class work on the quizzes, and I'm really excited to see the audits that come in. I think you've grasped this concept well. Been wonderful interaction on the chat, and when I ask for input, you've been typing away there, and we're getting lots of good input. So I've enjoyed that, and really insightful comments as well. So thank you for your input there. I genuinely feel that road safety auditing is this wonderful opportunity we have to continue to inject road safety into all the projects that are happening out there. The existing road network, there's just issues everywhere. And we often think that if in a road safety audit course, we could just get you all to walk out your front door and look at the bit of road that's there and you'd be able to find issues. We concentrate on that design stage because there's infrastructure works happening, and we can leverage off that and make sure that they are done safely and give us the biggest enhancement in savings. When you've got existing road networks and you're looking for risk, road safety audits could play a role, but there are really good tools out there available to identify risk on the existing road network. And an IRAP, which I've mentioned before, the International Road Assessment Program, is a really wonderful tool to be looking at your existing road network and finding areas of risk. That's one great proactive tool. You have the traditional way of doing it, the reactive way of doing it with crashes, looking at where your crashes are occurring. That still holds merit, especially in some countries in the world where we have those really dense clusters of crashes. A lot of Australia and New Zealand, those dense clusters of crashes have been, the infrastructure's been rectified. And so we're seeing quite sporadic crashes around the network. So that's why tools like IRAP are so wonderful, because they take into account the characteristics of the road environment and give us an indication of risk across the network. So you're not waiting for people to be killed and seriously injured enough to go and do something. No, you've got a proactive tool that can tell you where your risks lie. So once, though, you've got that picture, and if your IRAP assessment or whatever risk rating assessment you're using identifies areas, that's a good opportunity to then go in and do a detailed road safety audit. So an audit of existing conditions, but you will then be able to pick up some characteristics there that could be rectified. So what I don't want to see is local governments or state governments commissioning road safety audits of their entire road network. The reason for that is just a practical nightmare, and it will cost you so much, and the value of it is low. It is like, when jurisdictions have done this, and believe me, Victoria did this at one point, it's just madness. Like, the consultants love it, because everybody who can road safety audit basically is, because there's so much auditing that needs to be done. And then the road authority is just given like tens of thousands of issues, because there are so many issues out there. And then it's this sort of massive exercise to wade through and prioritize and rank, and really that money would be far better spent getting a methodology like IRAP, looking for your highest risk areas, focusing in on those, and then investing your money in getting auditors to help and create these, and spend some money on some infrastructure, actually improve things. So that's that is a real danger, because people love the idea of auditing, and they just go, "Oh, we should do it everywhere." And you go, "Oh, calm down. Let's focus our energy and attention on what can be really valuable." So the other thing is that I genuinely feel, when you have completed this course and you hold that certificate and accreditation of a road safety auditor, your road safety responsibility steps up to the next level. I'm confident you're all passionate about road safety and keeping our community safe before this. But now you've got this real responsibility. You're going to be an accredited road safety auditor. It's your responsibility to be calling things out when you see it. Now, you've got to use your judgment here, because as I said, It's just tens of thousands of issues on out there. But if you're seeing these high risk, intolerable style issues, you go, that somebody, you know, there's a high risk there. You have a responsibility to alert the road authority to that. I want you to do that. I want you to just send an email in or highlight that, or pick up the phone and say, hey, this one, and, you know, get them to add that to their list of things that they want to be looking at. And call people out on projects that they're doing that you think are unsafe, as I'm sure you have done in the past. But I think you know, the more people we can get with that mindset, the better we're going to do in terms of reducing trauma around the world. We've got a massive exercise ahead of us. The other thing I should say is that road safety auditing is an international practice. So now that you understand the process and you've got a little bit of experience and you're going to gain more experience, this can take you anywhere. And if you want to be audited, you know, if you want to go to other countries when we're allowed to, you know, actually travel and do some sort of work that will genuinely save lives and prevent serious injuries and real devastating impacts to communities, road safety auditing is a good one. Your existing knowledge can save huge numbers of lives in many countries. And if you're interested in that sort of stuff, again, get in contact with me. I can put you in contact with a few people around the world, depending on which country you're in, to start to understand how you can get involved in that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm passionate about it. I love road safety auditing. I love safe system assessments. I love IRAP's methodology, and you know, we've got so much opportunity to do wonderful things. I'll probably stop there, Kathy. I could sort of rant on about how awesome the industry of road safety engineering and auditing is, but I'll leave it there.
I think that's great, and it's very infectious. So I know I'm a regular caller and email to my local councils. They just love me because you learn about this, and then you see lots of things on the network that can be fixed. So thank you, Ken, and thank you everyone for your participation. It's been really terrific, lovely to have so many people from all different parts of Victoria and Australia, and really appreciate all the work that you guys have put in. As Ken mentioned, a great group, on time with your assignments, which is rare. And so we really appreciate that. And if you have any questions or anything ongoing, we're still here, and please feel free to email and ask, and get your last assignment in by next Tuesday. Ken will mark them next week, and then you can download your certificate from there. So
I'll just also say, let's not end the conversation at the end of this course. Connect with me on LinkedIn or follow us at Safe System Solutions. We continually put out information. And you've got our contact details as you're going into in doing different aspects of anything to do with road safety engineering or road safety in general. We're always happy to share what we know and provide information. Thanks to Kathy and her team for all the background work, getting this together, sending you those packs of and the like, and the prizes you'll get and the certificates, and making sure you all had access to different things. It's wonderful. I hope I can meet you all in person or see you again in person at some point in the future. But otherwise, good luck with your auditing. Get out there and save some lives.
Okay. Bye.